Hey guys, Steve Welch here. So a lot of you guys are probably getting ready to travel for Christmas, and you might be going through some weather kind of like what I have here right now, where we're just above freezing. We have a little bit of a rain sleet kind of feel that's coming down here, even in Nashville. And if you're driving in it, then you kind of want to be safe in it, right? So depending on, even if you're going for a short distance or for a long distance, when you are heading for Christmas to family, friends, whatever, there's a few things that I put together here to just, you know, it's by no means is it a 100%. This is the exact list. It's this and nothing else, and nothing less, nothing more. I'm not saying that, but just a few things that I thought could help you to be a little bit safer on the road, and that you might not have thought about for your Christmas trip. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you the most important things, in my opinion, that you should do before you head out on the road for your vehicle and for yourself, of course, so that you're not sitting on the side of the road when you should be with family. Number one, in your first line of defense, it's right here. And literally, I can tell you that I believe in this because I changed mine yesterday. I had 430 seconds left on my tires, and it's one of those things where it's probably okay, but that 430 seconds is really about the minimum that you want to go and still have really good traction if you're in any kind of winter weather. Rain, that 430 seconds is usually what they say the minimum is. 230 seconds is, you know, more or less the minimum legal that you can have on there. A new tire is probably 11 or 12 seconds. But first thing I did was change my tires. The other thing you want to do when it comes to your tires is to make sure that your tires are aired up properly. So the next thing you want to do is you want to check your battery. Now, if you have a hybrid like mine is, your battery might be under the back seat, in the trunk, in the back in an SUV. If it's not a hybrid, it's usually under the hood there. But you want to check your battery, make sure there's no corrosion or anything like that on there. No signs that the battery's getting weak on you, stuff like that. If you go to start the car and it's just a little bit cold, and you get that little bit of where it's just looks like it's fighting to try it, maybe you want to go ahead and get that load tested and check that battery and see if it's something that you want to replace. Something else that I really love is this. All right, so this is a Topdon, and I'm going to go ahead and link this in the description there. But what this Topdon is, this right here is a jump starter. So it's a little surge jump starter, right? And it's got the two little plugs that you can plug onto your battery there. We got a plane going overhead over here. We got a little Southwest action up there. But you can plug this in and you can jump start your vehicle with it. The other thing that it has is you've got a light that's up here, and then you've got the ability to use this also as a charger, a USB charger for like your phone. So always make sure that it's charged, and I suggest that if you're on your trip, have that plugged in to one of your chargers, so if you did have a reason that you needed it, you could have this fully charged, plus hopefully your phone fully charged, and you're not going to be left stranded. But this is definitely a must. I'll link a couple of the versions of these in the description. Feel free to go ahead and grab that link and get those. It helps me out if you do, so feel free to do that. But I love these jump starters. The other reason you want to use one of those jump starters is if you hook a vehicle up, sometimes those things can get hooked up reversed, could have other issues, and you can actually cause a bigger problem if you don't really know what you're doing. So a lot of people say, hey, jumper cables in your car. I tend to not really recommend jumper cables because you can do them wrong, right? And with all the electronics that are in cars now, if you do them wrong, it's a bigger problem than what it used to be, right? Those little jump boxes, they tend to have a protection on them. Even if you hook them up the wrong way, it's not going to let it be an issue. Something else that I suggest doing, you'll see when I open my truck, I have my power running boards that come out. I also have power mirrors that fold in. I suggest shutting things like that off if you're going to be in ice or if you're going to be in heavy snow, just because you don't want those mechanisms fighting that. So either shut the running boards to where they're tucked up and shut off, or you could actually leave them out if you wanted to. Still have them out there. Obviously they'll be in the wind a little bit, but that could be a thing to do. But just see what you like. But I suggest not letting them move if you're going to be in an area where you're going to have a problem. Something else you always want to check your windshield wipers, right? Make sure your windshield wipers look good. Go ahead and run your hand on there. Make sure there's no chips, cracks, anything like that. Realistically, windshield wipers are recommended to be replaced usually around every 6 months. If you've gone a year without replacing your pine cone, if you've gone a year without replacing your windshield wipers, then you probably have gone a little bit too long, but definitely do that. The other part of that is actually under your hood. You want to get under your hood and you want to find where your washer fluid is, and you want to fill that up. Now, here's something you might not think about. There are different kinds of washer fluids. You'll see a washer fluid that says plus 32. You see the other ones that say negative 20. You see the other ones that say de-icer. I prefer de-icer, right? So keep in mind it's going to help to remove the ice from the windshield. The negative 20 should help with that too, airplane. Hey, Americans here. But if you go ahead and fill that up with de-icer, I don't think you're gonna feel like you made a mistake, right? Other thing I suggest doing, turn on your lights, headlights, all that. Make sure that everything's lit up, especially your headlights. Make sure your turn signals work, things like that. Marker lights front and rear. Make sure all those are working on your vehicle, because it's not even as much about you seeing as it might be about somebody seeing you. So make sure those are on, and realistically, make sure you use them. But yeah, you'd be surprised how many people will drive with bulbs out, brake lights out, things like that, and not really know it. It doesn't take much to check it, and if you went ahead and got an inspection on it, then you'd be able to see that too. Something else to check is make sure that you have your spare tire and your jack tools. So some cars don't have spare tires, they have inflation kits. Make sure those aren't expired, because that they have a little goop on the inside if they're not expired, that you can use to hopefully help you out. You know, spare tires, normally your tire system will sense if the spare tire is low, but not always, but normally it will. But I have seen people buy a used car, and whoever had the used car before took the jack and the jack tools out but left the spare tire. So great, you got a spare tire, you have no way to change it, so you're still in the same thing. So make sure you got a jack and jack tools before you leave, and check your spare tire before you go if you have one. So all your fluids, make sure all your fluids are good. That's one of the reasons that I suggest doing a oil change and a service before you leave, because they're going to top it off. They're going to look at it, see if anything's leaking, stuff like that. Most times you do a service, you're going to have a multi-point inspection with it. And even if you don't, you can actually, you know, call a dealership, call somebody and just say, hey, look, I want my vehicle inspected, a pre-travel inspection, and see what they charge you for it. You'll find out it's probably not that expensive to get that done, and it's going to give you a lot of peace of mind. So obviously make sure that your heat and everything like that's going to work for you. You definitely want to do that, because make sure that, you know, you put it in defrost, defrost, all the fun stuff. If you have things like windshield wiper heaters, stuff like that, make sure all that stuff works before you go. Something else, you want to clean your cameras and your sensors. So a lot of times, like on my Tundra here, down here, this sensor, that could be important. You have cameras all the way around this thing. You've got little sensors down here. Now realize those sensors, a lot of times what they actually will do is, if they can't see what's going on, they'll actually give you an error message on your dash, and it'll say, you know, sensor iced over. And I did a video where I showed how to clear that, but it won't even say iced over, it'll just say sensor malfunction or something like that. It just gives you something else to worry about. So if you stop for getting gas or something like that while you're going somewhere, go ahead and just make sure your sensors are all cleared off, especially if it's been snowing, sleeting, stuff like that. Update your phone, your navigation, and your apps. So realistically, make sure everything's up to date before you leave. That way you're not trying to get a signal somewhere and do it somewhere else, just in case that's an issue. Just make sure it's updated on your phone there. So something else that's suggested is to build an emergency kit, a winter emergency kit. So some of the things that it suggests to have in there is a blanket, a flashlight, gloves, ice scraper, water, snacks, especially the non-perishable like protein bars and that, an extra phone charger, and that jump pack like I was just showing you with the top down there, that jump pack, definitely. And I've included several things in the description that you could probably really use on your trip, and just see them and see what you think. And like I said, if you click the link in the description, it just does nothing but help me. So go ahead and do that. And if you get any of those, that definitely would be a good thing. So it's something else that's a huge mistake that people make. They let their fuel tank run low, right? Now, if you have an electric car, there's not a whole lot I can help you with on that, just because you're going to be in a problem anyway, just because the charging systems, the low temperature, stuff like that, they're just, it's a problem, right? Just trust me there. But if you have a regular gas vehicle, and I'll tell you, when I go on a trip, since I have a truck, I actually bring an extra jug of gas. Why not, right? So I'll actually have that little jug of gas with me just in case, right? But what I always suggest doing is, no matter what, I know it's a lot of extra stopping, no matter what, do not let your vehicle get below a half tank of gas. I don't care it says you have 250 miles till you need to fuel. I don't care. Do not let it get below that amount of fuel. Reason being is, if you get stopped somewhere, at least you have the ability to run your vehicle, to charge your jump pack, to charge your phone, to get the heat inside the vehicle, things like that. That's something that you should definitely just never let it go below that half tank. So something else, your own road test, right? So do your own road test. Drive your car, make sure that there's no little vibrations or anything like that. There's nothing that you're concerned about, you know, especially, you know, if you're renting a vehicle, borrowing a vehicle, something like that. Make sure that you understand that vehicle. You know how to put it into frost. You know how to, you know, hit anything that's heated, the defroster, the AC, all of those things. Make sure that you know how to turn them on, how to use them, how to change it from hot to cold, turn on the heated seats, you know, those things, heated steering wheel, whatever, so that you're not trying to search for that when the weather might not make it advantageous to do so. Something else, if you're worried about your vehicle, if you're going, man, I really hope we make it all the way. Hey, hope's not a plan, all right? Don't say, I really hope we make it. If you're concerned, there's a couple things that you can do, and some probably make more sense than others, but rent a car. The peace of mind alone is probably worth the extra money. Just rent a car, right? That's something that I suggest doing there. Make sure you know how to use it, right? But rent a vehicle, and rent one that's appropriate for where you're going. So if you're going to upstate New York, you probably don't want to rent a Mitsubishi Mirage. You just don't. You might not want to rent a Corolla, maybe an all-wheel drive Corolla, maybe, but there's certain cars that you don't really want to rent if you're going to certain spots. You guys know that. That's not hard, right? But the other thing you can do is, maybe it's time to bite the bullet. Maybe it's time to buy that new car. That's where I come in, right? You come see me, right? I'll help you get that car. December's a really good time to buy, so hey, there you go. But if you're going on a trip or something like that, and I don't care if it's June, if you're concerned about your car, maybe it's time to get a new one. Maybe we see Southwest behind us, and I guess maybe you could fly there if you really wanted to, but we're talking about driving. So if you're trying to get to where you're going, maybe it's time. Hey, you know, you consider what you're gonna have to put into your old car to get it ready to go. Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to make this an ad to buy a car, but maybe it's time, right? I've just put a few things together here on how to prep for your trip for Christmas, for Hanukkah, for whatever you celebrate. I definitely, you know, I want everybody to be safe, of course. Get there, be safe, enjoy your family, get home, all the fun stuff, right? Which is what, you know, that's all you can hope for, right? But so I put some things in the description, so in case you guys want to go ahead and take a look at some of the things that I'd recommend taking with you, feel free to do that. But other than that, this has all been for you guys, of course, unless you're looking to buy a car, and then I'm still here. But you guys have a great day. Reach out to me at buyatoyotanashville@yahoo.com, buyatoyotanashville@yahoo.com, and I'll get you into your own Tundra, Tacoma, Sequoia, whatever you're looking for. I'm pretty sure I can get you into something. But Steve Welch here. You guys have a great day, and I'm going to talk to you soon. Bye.